Good morning, students. In today's session, we'll see Boyd-Server's law magnetic field intensity derivation. Derive an expression for magnetic field intensity at the center of the square of side L meter carrying a current of I amps. In previous session, we have seen the derivation of magnetic field intensity for infinite current carrying element, and for finite length of conductor. So in both the cases, we have seen what is the value of your magnetic field intensity. Now in this class, in this session, we are going to identify the magnetic field intensity at the center of the square of L meter. So it comes under the concept of finite current carrying element. This is the diagram representing the problem. Whatever it is given over here, it is the square of side L meter. And here we are going to consider, let AB be the length of the conductor, that is finite length of the conductor, and this is going to frame a square. So if you find the magnetic field intensity on one side, then you can multiply it by 4 to find the total magnetic field intensity that is exerted on this particular square. Consider the point AB be the finite length of the conductor and P be the point where we need to identify the value of magnetic field intensity. From starting point of the conductor to the point under consideration, the angle made is theta I. That is, from here if you see, it is the starting point of your conductor. From here, if you see the point, then this is the angle. Theta I is going to be the angle made from one end of the conductor to the point under consideration. To the finishing point of the conductor to the point under consideration, the angle made is going to be theta F. Consider the differential current element at point C, which is at a distance of z meter from the origin. Therefore, the ordinates of this particular point is going to be 0, 0, z. And since it is the point P, consider this is at a distance of rho meter from O. Therefore, the ordinates of point P can be written as 0, rho, 0. Now, to identify the magnetic expression for the magnetic field intensity, we have to apply Boyd-Server's law. So this is one type of applications that you can relate it for your Boyd-Server's law. According to Boyd-Server's law, we know that the differential magnetic field intensity is equal to the current carrying element I into dl divided by 4 pi r square, and it is going to be the unit vector between the cause and effect. Since point P is going to be the place where we want to identify the value of magnetic field intensity, point P is going to be the effect and point C is going to be your cause. When you identify the distance between your cause and effect, so from point C to point P, if you identify effect distance minus cause distance, so 0 minus 0 into AX vector, rho minus 0 into AY vector, so rho into AY, 0 minus Z, so minus Z into AZ vector divided by root of distance between point C and P is root of rho square plus Z square. And I into dl. dl is nothing but differential current element, which is nothing but dz into az. When you do a cross product between these two terms, az cross product with az, so this particular term will become 0. Az cross product with ay, it is going to be minus ax, as we all know from the cross product rule. After identifying, we got the differential magnetic field intensity as minus I into rho divided by 4 pi r cube into dz ax vector. Now, the current carrying element, the point C, can be varied throughout this length of the conductor. So, when it is going to be varied from A to B, when it is going to vary here or here, the value of R between your cause and effect is going to get vary, and therefore dz will also get vary. Therefore, we need to identify, we have to replace the value of R and dz in terms of varying quantity, which we can identify from the triangle, from this particular triangle OBP, what is tan theta and what is sin theta. After identifying, we got the answer dz is equal to minus rho into cosecant square theta, and from the same triangle, if you apply for sin theta, you will get small r is equal to rho into cosecant theta. Substitute the value of dz and rho in the previous equation. Like if you substitute it in this equation, in the place of dz minus rho into cosecant square theta into d theta, in the place of r we can substitute rho into cosecant theta. Since we have rho cube, this is cube terms of r. From this, after simplifying, you will get the answer dh is equal to I divided by 4 pi rho d theta divided by cosecant theta. If you want to remove this differentiation, we need to integrate it. The integration is done with respect to theta. The theta value varies from theta I to theta f. Theta I is the initial value of the angle made from point A, and theta f is going to be the final angle made at point B. After substituting, we'll get the differential value of your magnetic field intensity. H is equal to I divided by 4 pi rho cos theta f minus cos theta I into minus ax vector. So it is going to be the magnetic field intensity for the side AB. Now we need to identify the magnetic field intensity of your square. That is, we need to derive the expression for the magnetic field intensity for a square. Square is having 4 sides. So all the sides are going to have a equal length. So if you multiply this one side magnetic field intensity by 4, then we will get the magnetic field intensity as I divided by 2 pi L into minus AX. Here the initial angle of theta f is going to be 45. Why? Because in a square, the angle between the two sides is going to be 90 degree, and here it is going to be half. Therefore, theta f is going to be 45. When you consider theta I, it is going to be 180 minus this theta f. That is 180 minus 45. It is going to be 135. For one side, if you find the value of h, we will be getting I divided by root 2 pi L. Direction is minus ax vector. This is for only one side. If you want to identify the magnetic field intensity on all the 4 sides, then we need to multiply the magnetic field intensity obtained by one side multiply by 4. After doing so, we'll get the magnetic field intensity in case of a square as 2 root 2 I divided by pi L. Direction of your magnetic field intensity is minus ax vector. Next problem. Derive an expression for magnetic field intensity at the center of the hexagon inscribed in a circle of radius r. So here we need to identify the value of the magnetic field intensity at the center of the hexagon inscribed in a circle of radius r. Means before we have seen the problem that is related to square. Now we are going to see the problem that is related to hexagon. So the difference between the previous problem and this problem is, in the previous problem the geometric shape that is considered as square. In this problem we are going to identify the magnetic field intensity at the center of the hexagon. We can see the hexagon as shown over here. So here also, if you find the magnetic field intensity at one side, you can multiply the magnetic field intensity by 6. Here the angle will be different, because the angle made between two sides in a hexagon, it is going to be 120. Therefore, the angle made from point B to point P is only 60 degree. The general expression that is already been derived. We know that the magnetic field intensity at point P due to one side AB is equal to I divided by 4 pi rho cos theta f minus cos theta I into minus AX. So this we can obtain it from the previous derivation. This particular equation, the value of your magnetic field intensity is derived from the previous equation. Now from this particular figure, if you consider theta f is going to be 60 degree, whereas theta I is 180 minus 60. And substituting over here, we can identify the value of your magnetic field intensity on one side to be h is equal to I divided by 4 pi rho into minus ax vector. This is magnetic field intensity for a hexagon on one side. Now hexagon is having how many sides? It is going to have 6 sides. So the magnetic field intensity on one side multiplied by 6 will give the total magnetic field intensity of your hexagon. So when you consider here, you will be getting the answer total magnetic field intensity due to hexagon h is equal to 6 into I divided by 4 pi rho into minus ax. The value of rho is nothing but it is from point O to point P. Because it is inscribed in a circle means this is not going to be the complete value. Therefore, rho value is equal to root of r square plus z square. What is the distance between it is your rho factor, and this is going to be r. So from this, if you identify your sin theta f is equal to opposite, that is rho divided by hypotenuse r. From this you can identify the value of rho as root 3 r divided by 2. The value of rho can be substituted over here, and hence the total value of magnetic field intensity in a hexagon is 6i divided by 4 pi root 3 r divided by 2. After simplifying, we'll get the answer of the magnetic field intensity in case of your hexagon as root 3i divided by pi r into minus ax ampere per meter. Now here we'll have a circular polygon. We are having a circular polygon of n side inscribed in a circle of radius r meter. Show that the expression for the magnetic field at the center for a current I is H is equal to Ni divided by 2 pi r tan of pi by n ampere per meter. Show that when n is indefinitely increased, the expression reduces to the form H is equal to I divided by 2r. Now, in the previous first problem, we have seen about the square. In the second problem, we have seen about the hexagon. In the third problem, here we are going to see about the n-side polygon. N-side polygon means we don't know the number of sides. The general formula is I divided by 4 pi rho into cos theta f minus cos theta I. That is going to be the general formula as we discussed in the previous derivation. In this also, we will have the technique. This is going to be one side of your conductor. Here you are going to assume the differential elemental length. This is going to be the differential current element, and point P is going to be the point P is going to be the place where we need to identify the value of magnetic field intensity. Therefore, it is going to be your effect, and this is going to be the cause. The distance between the cause and effect is going to be r, which is nothing but distance between your cause and effect. The ordinates of this point P is 0, rho, 0, and the ordinates of point C is going to be 0, 0, z. It is going to be the starting point of the conductor, and it is going to be the end point of the conductor. From starting point of the conductor to the point under consideration, the angle made is theta I. From end point of the conductor to the point under consideration, the angle made is theta f. Now, if you are considering a hexagon, if you consider a hexagon, it is having how many sides? It is going to have 6 sides. It means that the angle between any two sides is going to be 120 degree, or between the angle made for if the angle made is, it is going to be 60 degree. So here also we can write it as, if this is going to be in case of your square, the angle between two sides is going to be 90, and the angle between midpoint to the one side of the conductor, it is going to be 90 divided by 2, that is 45 degree. Here also what we can do is, it is going to be theta f. It is going to be theta I. When you have n sides, that is the angle between any two sides is nothing but 360 divided by 6 in case of hexagon. So the angle between any two point, it is going to be 60 degree. Here also you can write it, when you have n side polygon, side number 1, side number 2, side number 3, and likewise it goes on till side number n. It is going to be side number n, and this is going to be n minus 1. The angle from it is theta I, and this is going to be 2 pi by n. 2 pi is nothing but 2 into 180 degree divided by number of n. So the angle, one equilateral triangle angle is made as 360 divided by the number of sides. The number of sides we don't know, so we are writing it as 360 divided by pi. Therefore, here we will be getting pi divided by n. Therefore, theta f is equal to 90 minus pi by n. The general formula for the deriving the expression is h is equal to I divided by 4 pi rho cos theta f minus cos theta I into minus ax vector. This magnetic field intensity derivation already we have derived for in the previous problem for one side. The same expression we are taking it as reference to solve for this particular problem. Here what is the value of theta f? Theta f is nothing but 2 pi divided by n, and theta f is equal to 90 minus pi divided by n according to the diagram given. Theta I is 180 minus theta f, and substituting we got the answer of magnetic field intensity as I divided by 2 pi rho cos theta f. In cos theta f, direction is minus ax vector. Therefore, for one side it is going to be, the value of the magnetic field intensity is going to be I divided by 2 pi r sin theta f into cos theta f. Cos theta f minus by sin theta f is nothing but tan theta f. What they have asked you to derive it, here we need to derive for n-side polygon. We have to prove that it is going to be ni divided by 2 pi r tan of pi by n. When you do so, here after this equation, cos theta f divided by sin theta f is going to be tan theta f. What is your theta f here? Theta f is nothing but pi divided by n. So as theta f is 90 minus pi divided by n, we can write the value of h as I divided by 2 pi r cot of 90 minus theta by n. Cot of theta 90 minus theta by n is nothing but tan pi by n. Therefore, if our polygon is having n side, then multiply this single side magnetic field intensity by the number of sides, so that we will get Ni divided by 2 pi r tan of pi by n minus Ax ampere per meter. This is the expression for the magnetic field intensity for n-side polygon. So when n is increased indefinitely, then the value of pi by n is going to be very small, and hence tan pi by n is very small. Therefore, tan pi by n can be considered as only pi by n. Therefore, the value of your magnetic field intensity H is equal to Ni by 2 pi r pi by n minus Ax vector. H is equal to I divided by 2 pi r minus Ax vector. Now, find the magnetic field intensity at the center of the circular wire of radius a meter having a current of I amps. So now, so far whatever discussed, it is all about the line with respect to Cartesian coordinate system. Here we are going to identify the magnetic field intensity at the center of the square of radius a meter having a current of I amps. This is the diagram showing the circular wire of radius a meter having a current of I amps. So it is going to carry a current of I amps. We are going to consider a differential current element at point C. The differential current element is going to be dl, which is equal to rho into d phi, which is maintained at a distance from a meter. So in the place of dl, you can write dl is equal to a into d phi. According to Boyd-Saward's law, we know that dh is equal to I into dl divided by 4 pi r square cross product with ACP vector. So I into dl divided by 4 pi r square. R is nothing but distance between your cause and effect. dl is nothing but your differential current element, which is taken over here. Therefore, dl can be replaced as rho into d phi, which is equal to a into d phi. After doing so, we got the expression dh is equal to I into rho into d phi divided by 4 pi a cube. Here we need to identify the value of h. Therefore, the right hand side equation has to be integrated with respect to pi. When it is integrated with respect to pi, means the angle varies from 0 to 2 pi. On substituting it, we will get the value of h expression. We will get the value of h as I divided by 2 pi a. I divided by 2a. It is going to be the final value of the expression for the magnetic field intensity at the center of your circular wire of radius a meter carrying a current of I amps. Now, a tubular solenoid of radius r is wound with n turns carrying a current of I amps. Derive the expression for magnetic field intensity H for the following cases. First one, anywhere on the axis of the solenoid, at the center of the solenoid, at one end of the solenoid. So it is going to be the tubular solenoid wounded with n number of turns. At point C, we are going to consider a differential elemental length, which is equal to rho into d phi into a phi. So rho into d phi into a phi, in the sense it is at a distance of r meter from the center point. We can write it as r into d phi into a phi. For all these three conditions, we are going to identify the magnetic field intensity H. So we can write, if you are considering, let L be the length of your solenoid. In this, N be the number of turns per meter length. What will be the number of turns per meter length? In the sense, N divided by L. So if you consider a differential elemental length at a distance of r meter at point C, we can consider dl is equal to rho into d phi. We are going to analyze it by using a cylindrical coordinate system. For differential thickness dz, the number of turns is going to be n by L into dz. Therefore, the differential value of the magnetic field intensity at point P for the thickness dz can be written as dH is equal to I into dl divided by 4 pi r square. This is going to be the, according to Boyd-Saward's law, we have written the formula like this. If you have n by L, that is for the differential thickness, what will be the number of turns? If you have a cylinder, it is having n number of turns. If the number of turns is going to be n and if the length of the conductor is going to be L, then for this complete length, the number of turns is n divided by L, that is turns per meter length. Therefore, for small d is a distance, what will be the length in the sense? Multiply by d is a. If you do so, you will get this particular equation. Then AC is nothing but your unit vector from the distance between cause and effect. When you solve this, you will be getting the answer. The problem solution is same as before. When you solve this, you will be getting the answer dH is equal to minus Ni divided by 4 pi L d phi sin theta d theta Az plus cot theta into A rho. Now we'll get the expression like this. Here the expression is with respect to theta and phi. To identify the value of H, we have to integrate on our right hand side. When integrating, theta has to be integrated between the limit 0 to pi should be integrated with respect to 0 to 2 pi, whereas theta should be integrated with respect to theta 1 to theta 2, where theta 1 is nothing but the initial value of theta from starting point of your conductor, and theta 2 is going to be the angle made from end point of the conductor to the point under consideration. Therefore, the value of magnetic field intensity after the solution is going to be Ni by 2L cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. If you are considering theta 1 to be phi and theta 2 to be 0, then you will be getting H is equal to Ni divided by 2L. This particular formula is going to be applicable only if the solenoid is going to have an infinite length of your conductor. Now, at the center of the solenoid, H at the center of the solenoid. So, if this is going to happen, so theta 1 is equal to 180 minus theta 2. Now, anywhere at the solenoid, it is going to be Ni divided by 2L cos theta 2 minus theta 1. In this, the value of theta 1, theta 2 is going to be theta 2 only. Theta 1 is going to be 180 minus theta 2 according to this particular diagram. After solving, we will get the answer H is equal to Ni divided by L cos theta 2 Az vector. This is the magnetic field intensity at the center of your solenoid. Now, if your point P is at one end of the conductor, if point P is one end of the conductor, then theta 1 will become 90 degree and theta 2 is going to be theta 2 only. Substituting the value of theta 2 and theta 1 over here, we'll get the magnetic field intensity H is equal to Ni divided by 2L cos theta 2 into Az, ampere per meter. The unit for magnetic field intensity is going to be ampere per meter. Thank you, students.